Our SUPW project topic is overpopulation, poverty, and how people are affected by it every day. So we thought that we should get out of this imaginary comfortable bubble that we are all living in and get out into the real world and just see what problems people face every day. Now, kids like us who are often oblivious to all these problems faced by people every day may go our whole life without realizing the impact that overpopulation and poverty has on people. Or we could simply feel subconsciously that all of this is not our problem. Our goal for this project is to make you all realize that all of this, is our problem. Just because you don't have to sleep with 7 people in the same room as you every day doesn't mean that your house helps living conditions shouldn't matter to you. Just because you do not have to travel by local train does not mean that you should not be aware of the poor and often dangerous conditions the majority of the city travels in every day. Now, there are a few things that we all have to realize. The UN described the world poverty line as earning $1.25 a day or 85 rupees a day, which is around 2,550 rupees a month. To put this into perspective, your parents earn around 35 to 40 times this amount in a month. Based on this, around 40% of India was judged to be below the poverty line. If we raise the poverty line to something more imaginable like around 6,000 rupees, around what the house helps working at home earn, the percentage below the poverty line rises to a staggering 70%. The point of this is to understand that we all over here are largely in a minority. We are lucky that we were born to our parents and have got this comfortable life without any work of our own. It could have been so different. We just want you all to understand that the world does not owe anything to you. Currently, as kids, we all are lucky to be in this position and we should feel a sense of responsibility towards the people who just by the random distribution of luck of this universe are not as privileged as us. So for our project, we decided to go to some crowded public places around Mumbai and capture footage that will hopefully show you how overpopulation affects people every day. We have also highlighted a very important cause of overpopulation, poverty.
So first, we travelled by metro to Ghatkopar and then Andheri and noticed that even metros get crowded during the peak hours. The metros are certainly helping reduce the traffic on the roads, but the poor connectivity and high prices of tickets are not allowing as much of an impact as possible. Honestly, it was about time that Mumbai got a metro system back in 2014. A metro system has been in Kolkata since the 1980s and in Delhi for the past 15 years. In comparison with the Mumbai railways, the metro is definitely much more organized, faster, safer, and an easier way to travel. So the question is, why has it failed to reduce the enormous rush in the local railways? Well, a ticket from Andheri to Ghatkopar by metro costs 40 rupees. To travel a similar distance by local train, which is 5.5 kilometers, costs around 10 rupees. Now this may not be a lot of money for you, but for the average Mumbaikar travelling every day, the difference between the two is massive.
So after this, we entered Andheri station. Mumbai isn't known as a city that never sleeps for nothing. Nowhere else in the country can one find such a pace of life. Nowhere else in India will you see millions and millions of people in such a rush to go about everything. A pace that is often asphyxiating for some and a drug for success for others. This pace can be understood by experiencing what is regarded as the lifeline of the city, the Mumbai Suburban Railways. The Mumbai Suburban Railways are rightly called the lifeline of the city, with almost all of the city's inhabitants relying on them to get to work or other destinations at some point of time. Many of them rely on these services on a daily basis. It is no exaggeration to say that Mumbai would simply not function without the Mumbai locals. An astonishing 2.66 billion people travel by the Mumbai locals annually. Now, why are the Mumbai locals so popular? Their connectivity and extremely low prices. You can travel around 110 kilometers by the Mumbai locals at a cost of no more than 30 rupees. Travel this distance by taxi and it'll take you around 2500 rupees. Now, this being said, the Mumbai railways face a big problem of overcrowding. After all, without the suburban railways, this pulsating city and the wealth that it creates would grind to a halt. Traveling during the peak hours in a Mumbai local train can be a genuinely physically intimidating experience. Any experienced commuter knows that there is only one rule in these railways: push or be pushed. During peak hours, the Mumbai locals often hold up to 15 people per square meter. 15 people per square meter. The conditions are so bad that there is a special phrase to describe it: super dense crush load. As you can imagine, these conditions are extremely dangerous. We even received some advice from a gentleman over there. In these clips, you can see the rush at the railway station and platforms. I was surprised to see the amount of pushing that goes on to board the train. It was like a wrestling match to see who could get on first. I was quite taken aback when I saw a guy push out of the train while trying to get on. The train had already started moving and he fell down on his back and seemed to be hurt. While this was shocking to me, it's something that happens every single day. 25,772 passengers have fallen from the crowded Mumbai locals in the last 10 years, which means around 2,580 a year, which is 7 people in a day. I think this statistic really brings home the idea that overcrowding in these local trains is extremely dangerous. It also suggests that overpopulation in Mumbai is not merely inconvenient, it is dangerous. Around 8 to 10 people die while riding the Mumbai locals every day. Now, if this isn't a clear indication that something needs to be done, then I don't know what is. Now, even with 7.5 million people traveling by local trains daily and 250,000 people traveling by metro, the roads of Mumbai are still extremely congested. Ever heard of London being a busy city? Well, Mumbai has around twice the population of London in just 1/3 of the space. So there is bound to be traffic.
Take a look at these buildings. See how close they are? With all those houses placed so close together, the windows facing each other, there's bound to be terrible ventilation. Now look at these. There are shops at the bottom, and the houses on top have been built illegally. These structures were not built to support all that weight. They might collapse at any time. All this is a result of overcrowding. The population in the city is growing really fast, and with all the extra people, we're a little short of space. And so we try to build on every empty piece of land we find, even if it's dangerous. We don't even take into account the roads, schools, hospitals, and other necessary infrastructure required for healthy and comfortable living, leading to the overcrowding you just saw. The rich get to live in the skyscrapers, while those of us who are comparatively poor are forced to live in these dangerous, cramped buildings. The maid who comes to our house agreed to take me to Tunga village where she lives. As we walked across the wall that separates the slums from Raheja Bihar, I was struck by the contrast between the two areas. People, goats, cats, bikes, and autos filled the narrow streets, leaving very less space to walk in a lot of places. The crowd you see here is only half the usual crowd apparently. Most people have gone to their villages to celebrate Diwali. The ground is covered with litter and puddles of water, making it a breeding ground for germs. The streets are used collectively for all sorts of activities.
playing, bursting crackers, talking, stirring drums of water, cutting vegetables, driving, and walking. Because of this, they are dangerous as well as unhygienic. A lot of the houses don't even have doors, just curtains over the doorway. Imagine how unsafe that is. Due to the poverty, tales of robberies, girls being harassed by their husbands, alcoholics abusing their wives and children, and men living with women other than their wives are not uncommon here. My maid's house is smaller than the living room in our houses, but she said it is one of the bigger houses in the area. All it has is a kitchen, a toilet, and one other room. How many people sleep here? 7. Sometimes more when her daughter visits. They have this little area 7 feet above the ground with the roof about 3 feet above, which they used for sleeping, stopped after her 1 year old granddaughter fell from there. My maid makes around 8,000 rupees a month. Most maids get paid even lesser than that because if you ask around, you'll realize a lot of people pay way lower than the minimum wages prescribed by the government. Anyway, 8,000 rupees, and 5,000 out of that is used for the monthly rent. How much money is left? 3,000 to run the house for a month. This includes costs for food, electricity, clothes, and medicine for all the 7 people. And she's one of the better off ones in the area.
In Maharashtra, 1 in every 4 people that make up the urban population live in a slum. Now there are 3 ways for the population of an area to increase: high birth rate, low death rate, and high migration rate.
Okay, so here's how it works. Qasim lives in a village, but his village does not have good schools, hospitals, roads, jobs, and there are often famines and floods. So he decides to move into the city with his wife and 4 kids. 4 kids because of the high mortality rate in the village. He wants at least 2 of them to survive. So he moves into the city, but he doesn't have enough money. So he has to live in a slum, which is filled with migrants just like him. Here, Qasim works as a laborer and his wife works as a maid, both with very low wages because us rich, comfortable people exploit them. His children fall sick often because of bad hygiene, but the couple works hard to educate them and their children grow up to be drivers at Blue Dart and call center workers. And their children, 9 in total, in turn get to study in private schools like us. The family has risen out of poverty. But has the country seen much development? Qasim is replaced by the next generation of migrants from the village, again with 4 children, and they will again work as domestic workers and laborers. The high migration rate and high birth rate increase the population of the country, all because of poverty. Poverty is a direct cause of overpopulation, not the other way round. Our country will only be considered to be truly developed if no middle class person can hire a domestic worker.
Obviously, there are many things that the government should do to reduce these problems, like providing people with better job opportunities, better healthcare, and better education facilities in rural areas. But I think before any of this, there is one much simpler thing that we all can do. We all can simply be grateful for what we have. I mean, I haven't done anything more than all those 15-year-old boys who live in the slums of Tunga village or Dharavi, often working during the day and studying at night to deserve this much more comfortable life. Making this project was like a wake up call for me. I just want you all to take a moment and think about all the material things you have: cars, computers, safe drinking water, a comfortable bed to sleep in, iPhones, iPads, and as Nupur showed us, simply a door in your house. and just realize that so many people don't have these privileges and probably never will. We should start off by simply appreciating what we have in life. Appreciate the clothes you are able to wear. Appreciate the fact that you get food whenever you want. Appreciate the fact that you live in a country in which our mothers are able to drive. Appreciate the fact that you live in an area where girls are able to go to school without any fear. Appreciate the fact that your house has a toilet and you don't have to use one toilet along with 1,400 other people, as is the case in Dharavi. Anyway, our group would like to thank Nupur's mom and Rehana Didi, who is Nupur's house help, for all of their help. We really appreciate it. Lastly, just remember that the mere fact that your biggest worry right now is probably your exams is a privilege in itself. Many people, exactly like us, have it way, way worse. So just be thankful.